guys, welcome to a very special episode of Tiger Dads. I'm Tiger Dad B, Jason Sklar.
Tiger Dad A.
Bo Bass. And we have a great guest on the show. We're not even doing an intro because today we're so excited. We got a Division I vying for national championships every year. Girls, women's golf coach with us. Give the real intro, Bo.
Oh, man. Justin Silverstein, head coach of the women's team at USC.
Let's go.
Top 5 program? What are we ranked right now, Justin?
Rank 2 right now.
2.
That's what I'm talking
My
about.
bad.
2 right now.
2-time Pac-12 coach of the year.
Amazing.
So
Congratulations.
This is super exciting because we started this podcast.
R.I.P. Pac-12. You're in my conference now.
Michigan man over
Look
here.
at us. Look what we were.
Well, yeah, we got a little rivalry going here.
No, I mean, welcome to the Big Ten.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
I mean, first of all, golf game immediately stepped up in the Big Ten when you and UCLA and I'm going to say Oregon
They
probably
bring it.
too.
Oregon brings it.
Everybody bringing it out. Washington, are they good?
They won a national championship in 14. They're pretty
Okay, so we just upped the Big Ten. And Michigan, not bad. That's not a bad golf school for a northern school.
Really good.
We have so many questions, though, as our children, for those who don't know, who are coming to this podcast because they're fans of yours, what we talk about on this podcast is what it means to be a youth golf parent and navigating all those waters, the frustrations, the excitements, the joys, and also setting our kids on a path to maybe, hopefully, eventually playing beyond high school. And that's where we talk about today.
It's been so cool because we've had all these players on. We've had some of the players from your program. We've had some Michigan players on. And people keep asking me, like, when are you going to have some coaches? Because, we have so many dads and moms and parents listening to the show. And they're like, oh, this is great. We're learning all this. We're learning what not to do. And we say we make the mistakes. And
so you don't
have to. People keep asking us to have a coach on. So
Let's do it.
Welcome. So happy to have you on. We do have a million questions for you.
Well, okay. So let's start with a little history on you as we get to it, which is how did you come to coach and what was your trajectory through golf that landed you here?
Yeah, so I came from a golf background. My dad played professionally.
Awesome.
Played on tour 2 years. Played on the Australasian tour for a few years. And once he had 2 kids and needed to pay some bills, he got out of playing into the owner-operating business. So I grew up in L.A., San Diego, and Dallas as he did that. So surrounded by the game. As soon as I could walk, I was hitting balls.
So he was owning and operating golf courses.
Yes. He had the management contract on Balboa.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, in the Valley.
Wow.
That's where I hit my first golf ball there at El Cab. That's where I grew up playing. And then we moved to Dallas when I was really young. So I started playing tournament golf when I was 5.
Oh, my gosh.
All the way through college, played at Arizona.
Was it a just foregone conclusion, or did you yourself gravitate toward it, love it as you were doing it?
I loved it. It was the time I got to spend with my dad, which was cool when I was young. I played a lot of other sports, played basketball, not tall enough to do that. Played baseball at a relatively high level in Dallas. And then when I was 14, my dad came to me and he's like, hey, if you want to do one of these sports at a high level, especially golf, like you need to make a decision. And my parents were cool. They're like, pick whichever one you want. And I was like, no, I want to try this golf thing. So it was awesome. He went to the course with me every day after work, which is really, really special. And he pushed the right amount. And throughout the whole process, he kept asking me, like, how hard do you want to get pushed? And I was like, you're my coach. I need you to push me harder and harder. And it worked out really well.
So him asking, that's a great point.
Yeah, because we talk about, like, we've talked with players, like, to get to those higher levels, and I'm sure you see this with your players, is like the player has to drive it, right? Like, we can support and drive you and take you, and like maybe your dad was qualified to coach, which we're not, but like we can take them to their coaches, but like ultimately you were driving it.
Ultimately, yes, but not from a super young age. I'm going to bring this name up a lot on the podcast, but Chris Zamry, who is our former men's golf coach at USC, is the U.S. national team coach for the USGA now. One of my best friends, guy was in my wedding, one of my mentors in coaching, but he's always had a line. He's like, 12-year-olds don't go chip for 3 hours on their own.
No.
Somebody has to make it.
Someone's got it,
So there has to be a balance of it. Like, you can push, but I think as they mature and get older, it's got to be a conversation where you almost need to ask permission to push harder and hold people accountable. One thing that kept me playing at a high level and wanting to play at a high level was it wasn't about the result. It was about the work, right? I could go shoot 76 in a high-level junior golf tournament in high school, and I wouldn't hear a word about it as long as I was putting the work in at home. But if I was slacking off and wasn't putting the work in, then I would get a talk about, hey, you don't really deserve to play that well right now. You're not putting in the work you need to do so. Check me back into that, and then back to work.
I've had that conversation with my daughter, actually, where she has been practicing. You go through these lulls where it's just like not practicing, and she plays in a tournament, like, is frustrated because she doesn't play well and doesn't score well. And I'm like, well, have you put the work in? And it's like, no. So then, like, what do you expect?
Right. And it was having a dad that played professionally.
He knew what it took.
We knew what it took, and it was also hard to talk back to him because I was like, well, what do you know? Oh, yeah, you played for a living.
Right.
Oh, he put the work in.
Yeah, you put the work in. You've done this. So, yeah, you maybe do know.
That's so interesting. And I bet on some level he, as you took to it yourself and started to, as you became a teacher yourself, he must be so proud of what you're doing and where you are, where you've come in the game.
Yeah, and then the transition to college was awesome, too. I went and played for a coach at Arizona who was very tough. Very tough. And that's what I was seeking out as a junior golfer. I wanted someone who could duplicate what my dad was doing at home and hold me accountable.
Right.
I was very self-motivated. I still think I am, but I wanted that exterior push from a coach. Keep me on my toes, but also hold me in check.
It really impresses me when young people, high schoolers, college students have that motivation to be focused like that, because I was not that way. And
still not that way. No, but like, is there a huge leap? I'm assuming massive leap from high school or whatever you're doing before you get to college and the Division I collegiate level golf.
Yes, for the most part. My hesitation with that is we had Jasmine Coos, a sophomore on our team, came in as a top 10 player in the amateur in the world. Right. The golf jump for hers wasn't that big. She was already competing against those players. But for 99% of golfers, yes, it's a massive jump. Time management, huge issue. Not being at home, not having your parents there to do everything, huge issue. So you're balancing all these things along with having to compete at a higher level. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. But a lot of the colleges, and speaking for us, we have systems in place to help people with that, and I think that's why we've had a lot of success.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming like you have seen all the pitfalls, all the things that can take a good player and just drown them in whatever else is going on in college. And you're like, all right, we know what's happening. We know how to like cushion you and sort of put you in bubble wrap a little bit to understand like how we can keep you on the path. Because I'm assuming you guys recruit pretty meticulously. You have the luxury of being able to look around and be like, not only do we want someone who's great at golf, we want someone with the right attitude. We want someone who's a fit with our program. I'm assuming that.
Let me back it up. So we were getting Justin's background, but I think we really just want to get into the recruiting stuff.
Okay. Let's get in there. All right. So let's ask a very basic question. Like, when do kids start to get on your radar for recruitment? I mean, I know in like football, they're like, there's a fetus who's graduating in 2049. And you're like, he's got really good hips. Like, he could be a good cornerback. See how he's kicking? I mean, how early does it go?
I started watching Jasmine play golf when she was 13. I started watching Amari play when she was 12, maybe 13. So that's about as young as we've gone. We're paying attention to the Tour Cup. We're very fortunate on the West Coast in Southern California to have an unbelievable local junior golf tour.
Yeah.
So we can start paying attention pretty early, but eyes on kids, like following around, about 13 is as young as we've gone, which is, it's wild.
Yeah.
We always say that the biggest challenge for us is being here in Southern California, only because the talent is so deep. And I feel like it's getting deeper every year, that it's like we kind of can't help but compare. But at the same time, we're like, okay, don't compare. I'm trying like not to compare my kid to like unicorns, because they're both like grinding and practicing a ton and also like unbelievably
super talented. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the access, at a young age, the access piece is big. Access to facilities, access to coaching, whether they're specialized in golf or playing other sports, which if you look at all the research, play as many sports as you can at a young age. I mean, TPI is pretty much, wrote the book on that's the better idea. But if you want to be a really good 10-year-old golfer, it's probably the only sport you should play. But the goal is not to be the best 10-year-old golfer in the world. The goal is to be the best college player you can be, the best professional golfer you can be.
All right, so I have a question for you, because that's what everyone says, right? Everyone says, like, don't specialize, play lots of sports. But I'm kind of going through this because my daughter's played multiple sports. She just turned 13. She started 7th grade. And basically every sport she was playing, including golf, everyone she's competing against is now specializing. And I guess 7th grade, they're 12, 13 years old. It's maybe the point, but it's sort of like, it's tough because we hear coaches talk about play lots of sports, but we also hear you say like, okay, and I'm getting like, more serious with you, but like, we also hear you say, okay, I'm looking at Jasmine and Amari at 13. they were special. I mean, I know Jasmine would talk about being a swimmer, but Amari was specializing since she could probably
was like
walk,
8,
right?
yeah.
So how do we balance that as parents? I wanted her to keep playing more sports, but she basically voluntarily and almost forced, like she's playing volleyball, but the entire volleyball team played 365 club volleyball. She's like, I can't compete with them because I'm busy playing golf and soccer too.
It's very difficult. I wouldn't look at either ends of the spectrum as far as prodigies, Jasmine, Amari types, and then the special case of Gabby Ruffles, who picks up the game at 15 and ends up being the number 1 amateur in the world and a tour player, and it's going to be a tour winner and a major winner. You got to be somewhere in the middle, right? But I do think golf it's a specialized sport that involves a lot of skill. And about the age I said that my dad came to me was about 14. So 12, 13, 14 is about that time where you probably have to start making decisions. I think when TPI talks about playing other sports and hitting your speed gap or your speed window, it's about 9 to 13 is when you can pick up a ton of speed, hitting stuff, rotating, things like that, jumping. So I think you are looking at a pretty similar timeline to what I was raised with. But I do think for parents, it's really, really important to not pay attention to the special cases, right?
Yeah, okay, that's a really good reminder. It's
don't look at the anomalies.
The Amari things, it's ridiculous. Jasmine's a unicorn. And I've been around her for 2 years now. That kid is so unique. She's able to do things with her life, with her time management, with her skill set that I really have never seen any of my other players be able to do and perform at the level she is. And the one thing about Amari, just hitting on this one real quick, nobody had any idea how hard that kid worked. You look at her and you thought it was all talent. That kid worked, still does, works a lot, which was pretty cool.
So, yeah, I mean, I think what we're hearing, at least what I've heard, at least been hearing from all the people we've spoken to, especially some of your players, is that there comes a point, maybe it's the 12, 13 years, where you really do have to be devoting some time to it every day to really see the gains or the improvement within your game. See you get to the highest version of yourself. Whether that's good enough to play on a Division I level, then that is up to someone else. But
I guess it's a question too, because we're talking with you as number 2 program in the country who's vying for national championships and recruiting maybe a different level of player than a liberal arts D3 college who still has a golf team and still has really good players, but maybe not. I'm assuming every player that's coming to your program is looking to turn professional.
It's the first or second question I ask recruits when I can get them on the phone before their junior year of high school.
Which is,
do you want to play for a living?
Yeah.
And if you don't, this is probably not the place for you to go to school. We take it that seriously. It's that hard to play golf where we are. That's one of the first lines I say as well, which is it is not easy to play here. It's fun in our own way, but it's a lot of work and it's really difficult. My expectations are really, really high, and my boss's expectations are really, really high. So if you don't want to do that, if that's too much for you, you really probably shouldn't come here.
Have kids answer that question with no thanks then?
Not directly, but I can tell in a week that that this maybe is not the place for them. And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's something I've learned as I've been a head coach longer and longer is it's okay to lose a kid every once in a while that's not a perfect fit. Listen, skill level is the most important thing, right? Rankings are important for us and it matters how good our players are, or else I don't have a job. But fit, as a tiebreaker, is the most important thing right now. So we see it a lot. We're really honest with recruits. That's something that we pride ourselves on.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you about the recruits. Again, as parents, we're looking at it from a parent perspective, how we can prepare our kids, whether it's for USC or, Williams or somewhere else. Are there things when you're watching at 13, 14, when you're out onto a tour cup, what are you watching for that we're not noticing? What are the things that you as a coach, and whether it's a coach at USC or other coaches that I'm sure you have a fraternity of coaches, what are you guys looking for that maybe we're not thinking about? Yeah,
so outside of the obvious, which is scores and rankings and speed, let's just put speed in that top category that if you're looking at a young group of kids, you're who could hit it hard, right? And high probably is the two, physical factors you're looking for. There's a term that Mike McGraw, who's the head men's golf coach at Baylor, uses called parking lot recruiting. So he's notorious, first one to the golf course for a tournament, last one to leave. He's not leaving before any coaches are still there. He likes to get there early to watch how the parents and the players interact in the parking lot before rounds. Is the kid doing stuff by himself? Or the parents doing everything for him? What's the warm-up like? If the warm-up's bad, what's the interaction like between mom or dad and the player? Post-round, pretty much every coach is on this now. It's like, if a player struggles, and I think a lot of coaches will tell you it's almost better to watch a player that's on your radar struggle for a day or two to see what the reaction's like from the player, but also the parents.
Yeah.
Right. And if the coach is there, the coach too, because the coaches are very involved, as you guys know.
Yeah.
So what's that like? What's the support group like? What's the post-round practice look like? Is it a positive post-round practice where the kid wants to be there and try to figure stuff out? Or is it a forced post-round practice where you can tell body language-wise the kid doesn't want to be here
I don't
laughing?
know if we've ever had a post-round practice. We usually have post-round ice cream.
Well, yeah, you got to do both.
You have to do both.
You got to do both. And in no order particularly. You can do ice cream and practice.
Yeah, no, but that is really interesting. You think about like, yeah, I guess if you're observing a player, you're observing the entire person for your program, for your experience, because yeah, golf is hard. Like the greatest players in the world have tough days. And if you're playing a whole tournament, you can have a bad day and come back and make the tournament good. Like,
so players' attitude post-round after a bad warm-up, bad practice
that's a
is
big part of it.
Monster deal.
What, along that line, like with parents, have you ever, and obviously don't need names, so you can tell us after, but has there ever been a player you're like, we love this player, but the parent is like such a nightmare and causes so much problems, and after the round you see the parent making, throwing fits or whatever, because we've seen it, that it like sort of disqualifies that player from your program?
I don't know if I would use the word disqualifies, but it would make us take a longer, harder look and do a little more investigating. Like there's ways to figure out what's going on at home other than talking to the player or the parent. Like we call golf courses that they practice at and talk to the assistant pro and, hey, what's this kid like when mom and dad leave? They still practice or do they go sit in the pro shop for 3 hours and hang out? Or what's mom like on site? Is she pretty tough? Is she cool? They'll give you all the good info. So
this is some really good, interesting vetting.
Wow.
So make sure you grease up those assistant pros.
Yeah, man, let them know.
Make sure when Justin calls.
Let them know.
But I will say, like, back to your point about, some of the smaller schools, liberal arts schools, when we work golf camps, which is where we get access to younger kids, we can talk to them at camps before we can talk to them in recruiting, not about our program specifically, but just college golf in general, is we tell everybody, and we're in a unique spot, right? Like we get a recruit from a pretty small batch of kids, and I'm very fortunate to have the job I do.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of golf programs out there, a lot at different levels, D1, D2, different levels at each. So keep an open mind when you're sending those initial emails out. Take a look at the website, see what the scoring averages are. But I beg parents every time I'm at a camp, I say this: don't look at the 6th, 7th, or 8th player scoring average. That's not what coaches are trying to replace and recruit.
Yeah.
Look at 1, obviously, but 2, 3, 4-ish is like, what are they shooting? Because that's what they're trying to bring in that's a little bit better to replenish their roster. I think too many times when people are getting into recruiting and talking to coaches, they look at, well, what's their 9th player walk-on shooting? I got that. It's like, well, I'm not really trying to replace that. I'm trying to bring in something.
Yeah, we're not
better.
trying to replace number 9. We're trying to place number 3.
Right, and that's how we keep our job.
Yeah.
So you talk about the camps, like that's a good idea for young people to be on your radar, or at least get a chance to understand how you are when you interact with them. And how often do you do camps, and how do people get involved in something like that?
So as I Google it, there's a lot of really good organizations now. It's gotten really, really good. I don't work a ton of them anymore. When I was assistant, I did. Bethany Wu, who's our assistant coach, does a lot of them, winter and summer break now. It's just a great way to get in front of coaches. You have access to them for 2 straight days. They watch you practice. They watch you play. They do coaches forums. On the men's side, it's become a really, really popular deal because they have a lot of blackout periods for recruiting where they can't go out and recruit, but they can work some camps. So it's a cool way to get in front of them. Ask really good questions, ask some pressing questions about, hey, I had a kid come up to me once and say, hey, I know I can't play for you, but this is what my email looks like to D2 schools. Like, what do you think I should move around? And I'm like, well, move your scoring average up. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But they care about school a lot too. So keep that SAT score up in the first paragraph. Because, we get a lot of emails. Some people don't have time to read all of them. So those camps are really good, really beneficial. I would start them pretty young if you can afford it. I know they're expensive, but everything in the sport seems to be nowadays.
And they're not put on by USC necessarily. They're put on by who?
Some schools do them. Okay. Some schools, like, we do not do one.
Right.
But
they're like satellite camps, like what Harbaugh was doing back in the day.
Exactly. A little more legal, but yeah.
But so who puts them? So other schools put them on, or
no? These organizations. Yeah, these kind of one-off organizations do them. College Golf Camps is a big one. College Golf X is a big one. So if you just look it up, you can find a bunch. And there are a lot on the West Coast, a lot on the East Coast. And we're in a good spot here on the West Coast to get to some in the desert. Arizona's got a bunch. But yeah, some of the schools do them, and those are great. But then you're only getting access really to those coaches, right? But if you go to these centralized ones, you're getting a USC coach, a UCLA coach, a Santa Clara coach, a Washington coach. You get a little more broader scope of things.
That's very cool.
Outside of the camps, and obviously, again, I know it's different because you're recruiting from a much smaller pool than maybe some other schools are looking for. What other things can recruits do besides scoring differential to sort of stand out? Like, I keep having this conversation with other parents about like social media, right? So maybe not you, but are coaches looking at social media and kids? I see kids building resumes on Instagram. Is that something that you guys are actually like looking into or paying attention to?
Yeah, we're pretty involved in that. Seeing what's going on. Now I will say when we are about to offer a kid or take a commit from a kid, like we're doing a pretty full social media sweep of what they have going on their golf accounts and then also their regular accounts as well. Trying to get a background and kind of what we're getting ourselves into. And I think that's important. Yeah. But yeah, I think the golf accounts are good. Follow the golf programs you like. You'll probably get a follow back, and then it hits their feed, and they can keep updated a little easier. You guys know this, emails get swamped. Social media is a little cleaner, especially with the algorithm the way it is. So if you're focusing on a kid and looking at their profile, it's going to hit to the top of your algorithm. So it's pretty smart to keep people updated on that.
Keep coming back up.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm always worried. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this politely. Like we have friends. Like for us, we don't post any results. Like we'll put stories, she wins, we'll put it on the stories, but it goes away. And then I look at friends and they just post these like, it's like cringy to me. I think it's like a personal thing where it's like, I won, or like, oh, I didn't do well this week. And then they have this whole, like, it's like a 12-year-old writing this like, oh, but I'm learning I'm learning the grit and to work harder. And it's like, it's so cringy when the parents are writing in the voice of a 12-year-old. So I'm always trying to.
Well, I understand the balance and I understand the cringe level. We're getting an email that has the exact same thing written out. So I think those parents are probably just putting it on social as well, hoping that
it breaks through somewhere.
Exactly.
Somehow.
Exactly. Because we're getting, after a Tour Cup weekend, we're getting multiple emails, the story about the week. I played great and here's what went right, or I struggled and here's what went wrong. I think you're getting the truncated version on Instagram.
So people actually will email you. Like, I'm assuming that players have to assume that they're on your radar to give you updates, or you get just cold emails.
I get cold emails all the time. I get a lot. We get a lot.
Wow.
Do you have somebody filtering those for you?
Nope. Wow. Being our assistant
No wonder
coach.
why
every email I get, I forward to Beth, our assistant coach, and she's got a huge Google Drive sheet where we sort them and we move them and we color them and see what's going on. And you'd be surprised. Like we get a lot, but we get good players send them, and I love when our big time recruits send them. Some recruits think they're too big time to send us like a little poke, like, "Hey, thanks for watching me today. Here's how I played, and here's how I think my week went." But I don't have any problem getting them from anybody.
Can you tell? I mean, assuming you can tell when it's a parent writing versus like actual athletes writing, or
it's getting harder now with AI. I mean, they all use chat, so
yeah.
But yeah, I could tell sentence structure wise. Usually,
you can tell when it's authentic, when it's coming from a kid, and
that's
you can
a really
feel
good
that.
A kid I've talked to, especially like once they're in their junior year and we've talked to them, I can definitely tell when they've written it. Now, if I'm 13 or 14, I have no clue.
Right.
Kids are smart these days too. They can write pretty well.
That's interesting though. I haven't even thought about like reaching out to places that you like or want to be on their radar a little bit. That's interesting to be proactive like that. I never even thought of that. I think that's.
We're just trying to get our kids to the range.
I mean, look, there are many levels, as you know. Like where your kid on her journey at some point. Like sometimes they may not ever even get to the point where they'd ever be on a radar like this. But we're hoping, we're building, we're supporting them in the same way that your dad supported you. Yeah. We're hoping that they continue to grow. We obviously see promise in our kids. So we're motivated, we're in the world, and it's exciting for us because, of course, as Kevin Garnett said, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible at this point. So it's exciting for us to like hear about what it takes, and also to find our way to like not be disappointed if we don't go this way or that way. Like to understand all the possibilities, because this is you're the top of the top. This is an enormous program, recognized. But like you were saying earlier, there are tons of programs around the country. You were saying it as well. Tons of programs around the country where the competition level is not what a USC is, but you can still have an amazing college golf experience.
It's something, okay, I'm really glad to have you on, and maybe you can sort of put this out there, because like I have conversations with parents all the time that like can't beat my daughter, and they're pinning their hopes on playing at Stanford or like Wake Forest or USC, and I'm like, you guys, like, I mean, so just like, how many spots do you usually have here? Like 2?
Well, I mean, look at our roster size, right? It's about 8, and that NCAA limit now is 9. We're going to hold about 8, so you're looking at about 2 a cycle.
So you've got, let's just say you have 2 spots a year, and these parents whose like kids are not even that good at 12, 13 years old are like assuming their kids are going to be playing at these top programs. And again, it's, you know, you take all the top programs and let's say the top 20, now you have 40 spots available, you know, internationally, and we see more and more international players. So it's like, I think it's important for parents to have like a realistic perspective of like, you know.
And that's where I say go to the websites, check the scoring averages, don't check the last player.
Yeah,
check 1 through 5.
Player. Yeah, and this is stuff I say at camps, like do not look at the 9th player scoring average. That's not what the coach is looking for.
All right, so looking at the scoring averages, and this is something I'm learning, right? So we're just, you know, we've been doing US Kids and Players Tour, and, you know, we've done some of the world stuff, and we're trying to figure out the next step for us is like JGS rating, Junior Golf Scoreboard rating. So I'm learning. Shout out my boy Lionel, who's like, he's my golf Sherpa. Like we're handing it down.
I'm giving it to no one. It ends with it goes to the grave.
That's it, right? We're done.
Is that like when you are first looking at players, and I think that's would be all coaches, right? You're looking at different level of scoring differential, but it's like the JGS rankings is primarily your like go-to where you start like sifting?
Yeah, that's kind of where we start sorting it. There's a new one out, TUGR, Tuggers.
Okay.
Universal Golf Rankings, big. That's going to be a good one. But those 2 are the ones we use, and we sort it. We go to California first, and we sort it, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I hand that list to Beth, and I say, this is your assignment for whatever year class it is, and make them love you, and
check them out.
Make sure they call me on June 15th.
That's the process, right? So Beth will then go out, here's our top 5 we're looking at, and then she'll make, well, I guess you're allowed to make contact after their sophomore year?
Yes, somewhere between their sophomore and junior year.
Okay, so then Beth will start reaching out.
We'll send text messages out June 15th early, trying to set up Zoom calls with our top 6-ish, probably. We don't cast a wide net.
Again, you don't have to.
Lucky, like just pure luck from the job I inherited. But early, our net's a little bit wider than that, young. But again, we're in such a good state. If you look at our rosters, since I've been here, we are really trying to keep California kids at home. And that's a Chris Zambri, I'll bring that name up again, thing. When he was our men's coach, he's like, every other school in the country is coming in here trying to take our players. What about if we just dedicated our time to keeping them here? And I was like, yeah, that actually makes a ton of sense. We'll go to Australia if we need to. We have a freshman from Australia, and obviously Gabby Ruffles and Amelia Garvey from New Zealand. Good pipeline to Hawaii, right? You guys had Allison on, Malia Nam, stud.
Yeah.
We'll go west. But for me to go to Sweden and duke it out with Wake and Duke and Florida, that makes no sense. Like, I'll see that kid once.
Right. Yeah. And you can see this kid
I can watch
down the road. Yeah.
Jasmine play
every weekend
400 times.
Right.
I knew, like, when I talked to her on June 15th, she committed to us June 17th. I knew everything about her, and I'd never talked to her. I'd never talked to her coach. I never talked to her. We just hit it off like we were buds because I'd watched her for so long. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love it.
All right, so let me ask you, in terms of like, you're talking about players coming from Sweden and Australia and Asia, how is NIL affecting like all of this? Because I was talking to another coach on their program and at a UC program, and they were sort of struggling. They don't have like the NIL dollars to compete with some of the other programs now. And like, I don't know what those numbers even look like for women's golf versus, or even men's golf compared to like football. And we know the football programs are like going crazy, but how is that changing things for you?
It's changed everything.
Has it really?
Everything. And let's just like, it's great. I'm happy the kids are getting paid. I'm happy a lot of kids are getting paid. All the kids are not getting paid. So if you're hearing that, that's not true. Some programs are cut into revenue share through their school. Let's say on the women's golf side and men's golf side, that's a small number. that are getting cut into that $22 million from the House settlement through the NCAA. NIL stuff's murky. It's a mess. It's a topic of conversation between myself and my administration and every coach every day. What you hear, the sad part is what you hear is usually more than 50% off. Obviously higher. The amount you hear is higher.
Right.
It's frustrating. It's impossible. There's no legislation on it. Everybody's lying. Everyone's trying. I don't even blame the players. They're trying to get as much money as they can.
They're leveraging like, oh, this school's offering me X. You know, if you give me Y, I'm coming.
Right. And I'm friends with a bunch of coaches that we recruit against. Am I going to call him and be like, hey, we offered so-and-so this amount. What are you guys offering? He's not going to tell me.
No way.
Or he'll be like, oh, way less than that. Then I'll call her and be like, well, here's $5,000 more. Do you want to come here? So it's a mess. Again, happy for the kids. We've been lucky. Like Amari and Rose Zhang did it the right way as far as how they got taken care of. They did what we call at USC real NIL. They got like Olympic money, right? Amari got to deal with Bank of America and Lexus and Nike and TaylorMade because she was awesome and she was marketable. Rose Zhang was Adidas and Callaway and Delta and Red Bull because she was awesome.
Right.
When the collectives got involved, and for your audience, collectives are basically just a group of boosters at a school who are just handing out cash. It got really messy.
It's different than like corporate, like Olympic. I like that.
It was intended to be real NIL, like the Olympic model. And when the collectives got involved, and we have a collective, and we've used our collective, and they're great. We're not allowed to use them anymore.
Victory Fund? What are they?
House of Victory.
House of Victory.
Yeah. They've been great to us. They've taken good care of our roster when we were legally able to do so.
Right.
But post-house settlement, you're not supposed to do that anymore. Still happening a lot.
It is. I know it is. I mean, certainly for football everywhere.
It's a mess.
It's Champion Circle. I was at Michigan, but I don't think they're operating anymore. But like you said, it's like
something's going on.
Something's going on. It's at a lot of these places. Yeah. When suddenly they land a kid that like 2 or 3 schools were like looking at, you're like, why did he or she choose that?
Or kid hops in the portal late. You know, that's where it's been very difficult, even in our sport, was a lot of these kids that are making money have agents, which they should. Now, when we're recruiting kids high level, Jazz, Catherine Park, we're like, hey, you should have an agent to help you negotiate what's going on right now.
Right.
You and your folks should not be doing this. That's how you're going to sign a terrible contract.
Right.
We were one of the first schools, and I'm very thankful for my boss, Jen Cohen, who's our athletic director. She was telling us head coaches, like, your high profile kids, like, tell them they need to be, we don't want to be dealing with their folks.
No.
So fortunately, because of where we're located, right, Catherine Park's able to sign with Wasserman.
Jasmine, like big agencies.
Jasmine with WME. We're dealing with big boys.
Right. Those are real agents.
Yeah, and I'm able to talk to their agents who know what they're doing. They're repping Nelly. Like they know what they're doing. This is very small potatoes, but this is a means to an end for them, right? Catherine Park's going to make a ton of money doing this one day, so that's why Wasserman's helping her now. But they've been able to get her real NIL deals, which is great. She signed a couple of them, so she's well taken care of, which is awesome.
Do you have to recruit your own players like every year to make sure they don't leave? Is that happening in this sport as well?
Yeah, it's happening. Not to the level football, basketball, women's volleyball, and baseball are. Those, I talk to our coaches all the time. I'm relatively close with Lincoln Riley, our football coach, and our baseball coach, and I'm like, I don't know how you guys do this. They have a monster staff too, right? We're 2 people, but it's my fear at the end of every year, someone like Jasmine, let's just keep using her. She's young. She's awesome. I mean, there's a school that could pay her a lot more.
Yeah, offer a ton of money. And
that's where the value of the relationship comes into play, right? That re-recruiting, but I just call it the relationship. You just have to keep that relationship strong. There's a means to an end here. They came here for a reason, player development. The degree still means a lot. Nobody talks about it in recruiting anymore, which is awful. It used to be, I'd say if I had a Zoom call with a kid, the first I could talk to him, the first hour was usually about academics. First hour. PowerPoint, Marshall School of Business, Annenberg Comm School, #1 comm school in the country. Now, it's all about player development, which is fine. That's what we hang our hat on. But then the conversation turns to, what are you guys offering?
Right.
Pretty quick.
That's crazy because for even in golf, which is a sport you can play for a long time, a small percentage are going to end up making like a living on tour.
Well, and as a program, like USC cares about us a lot. Like I'm very, very fortunate. We're a money loser. We have never made revenue for that school once. Now we have boosters that we engage.
People don't pay to. There's no gallery.
We're on TV twice a year.
Right.
So it's the world's different, but you got to adapt. And as Moneyball said, adapt or die. Like, and we've had to do so. And we're fortunate to be in a department that's helped us out. But we're all trying to learn this on the fly. The other hard part, and I know we probably need to move on, but the rules keep changing. Every week, every day, there's something new from the NCAA, the CSC. From the house settlement that our people are having to learn on the fly. Then they're having to read in football, both basketballs, volleyball. then the trickle down to us Olympic sports is like, hey, this is what changed. Here's what we can do now. It's very difficult.
No, it is fascinating because, again, I think you're in a different situation where you're able to recruit the top of the top in Southern California and keep them home, right? But I know other coaches in other schools are having to recruit farther and farther away because homegrown talent is going to other programs.
All right, I'm going to bring it back to us because we are narcissists.
That's enough about NIL, man.
I know, but it'll change 10 times before our kids even reach college.
We could have a whole podcast right just about NIL.
We totally could. So I don't envy you. I know it's not easy. Again, you also are like, oh, by the way, that's what I always tell people. I'm like, I'm a comedian and I also have to do internet marketing for my shows. I'm like, that's not why I got into comedy, to be like a crappy internet marketer. But that's half of my job now. So I'm sure you're like, I can't believe I'm now involved in this stuff when I came here to like teach and coach golf. But in a teaching moment, my daughter Noah we're steps behind them, a year in life, but also behind them in the development process. Like, what would be your advice to a sort of an emerging young player who I don't know where she's going to end up or where she's going to be, but like, you know, what are some motivating things that I can do, some tangible things that we can do to try and bring her up to the highest level that she can be and see what happens?
That's a really good question.
At 12, just turned 12.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say competing is very important.
In tournaments.
Yeah. And again, I know, let's just set the prerequisite. This sport's expensive and not everybody can do it.
Sure.
And I'm on the board for the U.S. National Development Team. They're working on some stuff with local organizations to try to make this more affordable. So there's stuff coming, which is good. But competing's important. Whether you're struggling, whether you're playing great, playing tournaments is great. The more tournaments, the better. And I don't think every coach would say that. But coming from my background, coaching men's golf, coaching women's golf, and having play as many tournaments as you can.
You hear that
at a young age. It's really good. Reps.
Yeah.
Reps. I would say as a parent, there's a term we use a lot. We have a performance coach named Kevin Sverduk, who's a professor at Long Beach State. He's been with us since 2012. He's the best. I love him. Resulting. It's a term he uses. It's from a book called Thinking in Bets, which any parent who's coaching a sport, I would ask them to read that book. It's about gambling, so that aside.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah, there you go.
What's the over-under on me buying it?
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding. All right, go ahead.
But the first story in that book is about someone who hires a CEO, and it totally bombs. But they went through the interview process, and they had all these categories, and this was their person, and it just didn't work. And basically, the end result of the book is just because it didn't work doesn't mean it wasn't the right decision, right? So if you go play, your process was really good leading up to the tournament. Kid plays poorly. As a parent, as a coach, you cannot solely focus on that result. Just because it didn't work doesn't mean you did anything wrong. And the inverse is true too. Just because it worked doesn't mean you did everything right.
Right.
So the process more important than the result.
Yeah, it's Nick Saban's got a ton of stuff on process. We actually don't use that word a ton in our program. But yes, like the daily work, the grind, more important than the result. With the deep understanding in the back of your head that this is a results business.
Well, yeah. I mean, you just said earlier
matters
the top 5 players are the players you look at for your program. But that said, that's that's down the line conversation. That's if you start actually scoring in and around there a lot. But we're talking about earlier in the process.
If I could build a golfer young, I would say nail your processes early. Get them to where they need to be, which probably involves getting an awesome coach, having an awesome facility, getting a weekly regimen of what you need to do. Nail that, put in the work, and then just see what happens, right? There's a lot. This game involves a lot of luck. Luck of whether you're talented enough to do it.
How you grow as a human being.
Exactly. How you can balance school and academics as a kid and as you grow up. But if you can nail your processes, things get better. I do think as coach, I find myself doing this all the time. And that's where Kevin, our performance coach, tells me, he's like, yeah, you're getting resulting a little too much. I'm like, yep, I know exactly what that means.
Resulting. I like that.
That's such a great term.
But that book is really good. It's a really good read.
Putting it on the list. Putting it on the list.
I love that information. Thank you for that.
I had another question. Hold on a second. I don't know if to cut this out because my brain is not braining, as my Emmy would say.
Yeah, I'm not going to be caught up in the resulting of his inability to get the question. He's doing the best he can. I'm proud of him.
Actually, sort of coming off the back of your question.
Yeah, please.
Because, and this is like, it's like a Gabby Ruffles question, right? Where like, okay, yes, Amari, someone's been playing since she could walk.
4.
We had Andre on, actually.
Andre's a legend.
Fantastic. He was so good.
Quick aside, on keep your point there. You want to talk about parents. When we were recruiting her, we were very aggressive in recruiting her. She was struggling, actually, when we could talk to her. She was driving it horrifically. She'd really kind of hit a little downturn, but I was like, this may be the best golfer I've ever seen. Like, we're going all in on this.
Yeah.
And I've talked to Andre about this, so I'm comfortable sharing it. People were like, hey, be careful what you're getting in business with here. Like, he's pretty tough. If you watch the movie, and I've never watched the short game. I didn't want to watch it. I had this image of her from what I knew, and we'll see that. He, in the family, so not just him, unbelievable throughout the entire process. Didn't call me once to complain. She played great. Most of the time she was at SC, she struggled a little bit. He was unbelievable. And the way they nailed the exit of her turning pro, because she was a one and done. Like, they were very forthcoming about, hey, she's coming there for a year. Your job's to make her as good as possible. She's out of there. Well, she ended up staying 3 and is going to end up graduating in the near future.
Phenomenal.
The way that family read USC and myself into the turning pro process was as seamless and as perfect as we've ever seen. So I'm very, very thankful for them. And I wanted to say that because I know from the movie he caught a lot and he's learned a lot. But I'll tell anyone that'll listen, he was just awesome.
I will say, so he was fantastic. We met with him and Amari at the Epson tour, and I had this perception of him as being this really like tough, overbearing parent from watching the short game, and he was so great. He made me cry, and Emmy will tell you, like every time I watch this one scene where in the short game, it like chokes me up as a parent. And then some of the things he talked about, caddying for her, even in physical pain, just wanting to be there to watch his daughter. Like, I'm getting emotional thinking about it because as a parent, it's like, that's all we want, you know, is to see our kids succeed and be happy. And no, he was great. And it was so nice. I'm actually going to invite him in. We're going to do a dad's roundtable coming up.
Awesome.
I'm going to see if he'll come back and sit with us. But he was fantastic. Just an excellent human being.
Yeah. I mean, I think also I applaud parents who aren't in sort of the 1% of their own profession who don't, maybe, because he wasn't a professional golfer. He didn't come from that. He saw this talent in his kid, and he was like,
he wanted him to play tennis.
Right.
I mean, he was frustrated she wouldn't play tennis.
Right. But once he saw the golf talent in his child, it was like, okay, we're making the female Tiger. I mean, he said it out loud, but like, I think I give so much credit to them. I'm not saying, you know, for me as like a comedian who's like reached kind of a level within comedy that I understand like how hard it is and how you have to grind and how many times you get told no and all that stuff. I know the pathway to get into a small sliver of working comics in this world. And so I understand from that perspective what it would take on her end for if she wanted to do that. But I give so much credit to parents who aren't in a tiny little thing and find a way to understand how to get their children there. It's just, I have mad respect for that across the board.
What I appreciated was that you could tell, and I think he talked about it, like the kid's not a product. It's like, it's just, this is his pride. Amari and Alana are like his pride and joy. Like he was, all he wanted to do was like die for them, you know? Anyway, back to what I was thinking about before my brain stops braining again. Someone like Gabby, who did not start when she was 4 or 5 years old. And again, professional athlete parents, right? Clearly incredibly talented. What happens, and you and I talk about this with like, Noah was like a late starter, right? She really only started 2 years ago versus kids that have been like Emmy picked up as soon as she could walk, she had a club in her hand. What kind of advice would you give to sort of like late starters and late bloomers? And again, maybe not everyone's Gabby ends up, you know, winning women's AMs and like playing at USC and then turning pro. But like other late bloomers who like love the game and like what advice would you give them in terms of like looking at schools and recruiting?
Well, I'll go back to what I said earlier. And one thing Gabby's parents did a really good job of is she probably wasn't ready to start playing tournaments as quickly as she did when she decided golf was it. But they were like, nope, you're doing this. You're getting right into it. Like, we're going to find some local events for you to play and you need to go compete and get your brain beaten in and then we'll figure it out. And now her progression was so quick. But they were like, oh, let's practice and try to get this thing perfect before we then introduce you to the sport.
It was just right in.
They're like, yeah, you played. Like, let's learn the rules. She'd hit balls a couple times with her brother was, you know, top amateur in the world.
Right.
But it was like, hey, let's get this to a decent enough level and then let's throw you into the water and see if you can swim in the world of tournament golf.
Yep.
I talked to her once. I'm not even sure she knew the rules of golf when she started playing in tournaments. So, you know, having a mom who's a 2-time national champion at USC, a dad who's a major champion in tennis, I think lends itself to competition. But that family ain't scared of it. Like, that's why both their kids are so successful. Like, they are not scared of competing.
So right into competition. So again, it goes back to good advice for everybody starting late, starting early, just reps. Tournament reps. Like,
yeah. Have a scorecard, have a scoreboard, will play. Like, that's a good motto for a player. Like, I don't really care what the ranking is as a young kid. I don't care who else is playing. Like, let's just go play.
Just go play.
Let's win. Like,
get
again,
beat, no big deal.
Going back to Jazz, and I'll keep, she's on our team now, so it's recent, but Jazz was the best or second best player in the AJGA when she was a junior in high school. She was still playing Tour to Tour Cup. Local events that she could drive to or mom could drive her to, she'd just go and win. And winning's a skill. Like, she's like, yeah, like, this is fun. I don't mind going to play.
You got to, like, if you're ahead a couple strokes, you got to have that mindset to close out a tournament. All those things help. Well, it's like an open mic for a comedian.
Her goal is to be the best professional golfer in the world. With that comes an expectation that when you show up to a tournament, you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
Probably good to practice that every once in a while. So I give her a lot of credit for keep playing those events. And
that sounds like if
I love that.
You
advice.
like players who just compete all the time versus like, and again, we haven't done this, but I'm hearing about it where like players are managing their JGS where they may have a bad first round and withdraw to prevent like a bad score. You just want to see people compete.
Compete
because you never.
Every coach will tell you that. There's not a coach in the world that would disagree with that. Now, some coaches will say manage your schedule so you can balance school. Yeah, obviously, all that stuff's in there. Manage your body. If you're hurt, don't play. But if you're healthy and ready to go and able, go find some tournaments. Let's go.
Yeah, I love it.
So I've heard and been told that you're like a big analytics guy. And that's something that we're trying to figure out now. And I guess I know a lot of parents are asking questions about like, at what point are we doing decade or like draw more circles or like all these analytics apps, versus like eye test or sort of like memory, like, oh, we missed some fairways to the left. Where are you on the analytics? How important is it? And what point in like juniors' careers should they really start like thinking about those kinds of things?
You're asking someone who's on one spectrum, whether like we are as deep in analytics and that stuff as any program in the country, men's or women's. We do more data stuff for sure than any women's program in the country. But I think we're up there with the men's side, probably more as well. You brought up Decade. I've known Scott Fawcett, who invented Decade since I was 5 years old. He worked in the bag room at the course in Dallas that I played at. My dad was actually his first sponsor when he turned pro. So I've been deep with Decade for a long time. You can't learn that stuff early enough, especially the course management stuff that they do. All in. Like, they don't pay me. They probably should.
They should. Where are you?
Yeah,
where's your camera?
Fawcett,
Let them know.
That stuff's great. Stat tracking, really good. I think writing stats down is probably the most important part of doing stats. It's like actually writing it down. That comes from our performance coach too.
And this is all like player has to learn how to do this stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's an age where you have to probably do it for your kid. But yeah, once they're old enough to remember the stuff and do it, and my players keep stats during rounds. There's a lot of players in the world that think that that's probably not the best thing to do, but there's no other way to do it.
What are you talking stats for people less know? Greens hit in regulation, putts per hole, like where you're.
I think everybody, once they get to a real tournament level, define that however you want. You should be, if you can afford it, you should be finding a stats program that's fairways, greens in regulation, first putt distance, total number of putts. That way, if you have first putt distance, total number of putts per hole, you can run strokes gained putting, which every single person should be doing. Nobody should be counting putts anymore. Putts per round, putts per green in regulation, do not do it. It's a flawed metric. You can find a strokes gained putting calculator online for free if you want to run it. And the reason we say strokes gained putting is the one you should be keeping, couple different reasons. You should always run against the PGA Tour, in our opinion, not the LPGA Tour, because there's no physical advantage for a men's golfer versus a women's golfer in putting.
For putting, there isn't.
It takes no strength. Also, if you called me tomorrow, we're like, hey, I just shot, I'm going to give you some credit here, 73 at Wilshire.
Never.
Front nine.
Front nine. I lost 5 strokes on the greens. What do you think my game was like? And I would ask you one question as a follow-up. Say, how many penalty shots did you have? You said, I had 0. I'd be like, you striped, you hit it really well,
right,
and probably chipped pretty well and putted horrifically.
Yeah.
You probably need to go work on your putting. It's the one piece you can get along with penalty shots that can help you figure out what's going on with your game. And this, again, Chris Ammer, U.S. national team, run that data and put it in a spreadsheet. Parents, put it in a spreadsheet. Don't toss bad rounds. Put your good ones in, put your bad ones in, and get an idea of what's going on. Because it's a really easy piece. It takes, once you get the hang of it, it probably takes 2 to 3 minutes to run around after strokes gained putting. It's not that hard.
So do you have recruits that are coming to you and saying, like, not only is this my scoring differential in JGS, but here are my stats?
Yeah, we get a lot of it. It's I'm trying to say this nicely, but like sometimes it's hard to believe. Are they measuring against the tour or the LPGA tour or college golf or junior golf? Because some of these analytics sites have all these different metrics. Like you can compare against 15-year-old girls golf. Now, the benefit we have right now in my relationship is with the national team, they're big into data. They do the exact same stuff we do at USC.
Right.
So from them, I can say, hey, what's this kid's, what were they for the week? And you can usually get that information. But yeah, in the emails, we're starting to get a lot of it. We get a lot of club head speed, which is really good to include in emails. Like I said, that's one of the metrics everyone's looking at. But if you can really dive in and say, hey, I'm a minus 1.1 putter against the tour average, that's pretty good. Like that's a huge positive in the column. But also, let's say you're a really highly ranked player and you're losing 3.5 around against the tour. I also look at that as a positive. That's a pretty low-hanging fruit to fix for a college coach.
Right. You're like, hey, we can coach that up.
I don't know if I can teach you to hit it 20 yards farther. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Maybe.
Dana Dahlquist, who I'm super close with, who's really close with our program, he's probably qualified to do it, but he doesn't bat 1,000%. But like getting someone who loses 3 around on the greens to lose 1 around on the greens, it's not super hard and it's kind of doable. So that's, good information.
And that, 2-stroke pickup that's a big deal.
2 around, that's 6 a college tournament, 8 a professional tournament. Yeah, that's a lot.
So
it's like technique. You see like a raw defensive end and you're like, that guy has good bend. He doesn't have technique yet. We can coach that.
He played baseball and track balls.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the Harbaugh's thing you were saying?
Yeah. I said Jim Harbaugh, my dear friend, who's a little on the spectrum. He said that they used to look for D-backs who played outfield. Because they're like, they know how to track fly balls.
That's Tomlin, who in the news today, he used to say in a podcast on the Pivot, I think it's Ryan Clark's podcast, he told his scouts, don't talk to me about offensive lineman hand placement. I don't care. That's our job to teach them.
Yeah, we get them there.
Yeah. How their hips, how their feet, how their ankles. I'll teach them hand placement.
Where are they bending? Are they over their knees or are they back?
So this is our version of that stuff.
Yeah.
So you're looking for low-hanging fruit where you can pick things up.
Yeah, like my dream scenario is a kid that kills it, hits it high, elite iron player. I hope they're good at everything, but if they struggle chipping, that's a great one. That's not that hard to fix for the most part. Speed on the greens, pretty easy to fix. Stroke, not that hard. We also have people we can send them to in a talent-rich or instructor-rich area. But yeah, teaching someone to go from 82 club head speed to 94,
it's a lot of work.
Good luck.
Yeah. Okay, so the point is...
Analytics good.
Analytics good. Start early and record it. Write it down.
Yes. The hardest part of keeping stats is keeping stats. Because nothing hurts more than playing poorly and having to go put it in a system and have the system tell you how bad it was.
It's like me writing down what I ate every day.
It's actually a similar... Yeah. Concept. Like we have nutrition's a huge part of college athletics.
You write it down.
Journals, man. Food journals are a big deal.
You're accountable.
If you're trying to gain weight or lose weight, it's a big deal. What'd you do? Oh, well, that wasn't good enough.
9 cookies at 12:30 at night.
I don't want to know how many cookies I ate.
I thought it was 4.
And you can get deep into the data tracking stuff. I think you can get too deep in it at a young age, but I think it's a good way. Again, that accountability we talked about earlier. It's a really good way to do it together. We're going to sit down together and we're going to go through it.
All right, I like it. Okay, one last question.
Last question.
What's something recruits should be asking that they're not when they're coming in?
Wow, what a great question.
Like recruits coming in like, oh, USC, I want to help win a national championship. But what are things that they students should be thinking about, whether it's USC or a D3 school? What should students be looking at beyond just the program?
Yeah, I'm been racking my brain. That's a really, really good question. I think the thing I would like to hear the most is I like when players come in and say, you've watched me a lot, which we do. What do I need to improve? Mm-hmm. And what's your plan for me when I get here? That happens in other sports a lot. You've brought up, line playing football. They watch high school film when they come on campus. A lot of these golf visits are me telling you how good you are, you telling me how good we are, trying to just make this thing work. I love when kids sit down and are like, hey, you watched me a bunch. Like, where can I get better? And what's the plan to do it?
It goes back to accountability, like figuring out.
Yeah,
and
because
also,
we pride ourselves on player development. Not every program's this way. Like, we are so deep in it. But I love when kids challenge me like that. Keeps us accountable for when we're watching too. I'm not just out there messing around. I'll track kids putting when I'm watching them play 9 or 18 holes and see what they did for the day. And I can call them after and be like, hey, really good putting on that front nine. You gained 1.2 on the tour. Like, what do you think went well? Oh, I putted with really good speed. Oh, do you always putt with that speed? No, it was actually a little bit better today. Okay, what are you doing to improve that? Again, that enhances the conversation, makes the transition probably a little bit easier. But I love kind of putting it back on the coach, especially if they've watched you a bunch, to kind of see what they think you need to do or they will do when you show up.
That's good. I like that.
And you can ask it in a way that's not presumptive of you being there. But like, if I come here, kind of what's the plan the first 2 months?
People are afraid, I think, in those positions also to like highlight a shortcoming or something in a meeting like that, because they're like, I don't want to spend 5 minutes talking about what I'm doing wrong in golf with the guy I'm trying to like get on his team.
Right, and we talked about fit a lot too. Like, you'll learn. Maybe some coaches will be like, I want to change your backswing. I really don't like your grip and the club face is shut. Like, that's not our deal. But some coaches might say that, and maybe you as a parent are like, nah, like, we're going to let, and I'll use Dana again because I'm close with him. We're going to let Dana handle that. We work with him. So maybe it's not the fit for us. You're going to work on the golf swing a ton. We wanted someone who kind of manages other stuff, the analytics portion.
We already have a swing coach.
Exactly.
Right on.
And I do think the swing coach integration with the program is another good question to ask, especially if you have somebody that has a name, that's been with you for a long time. How would you like to see me work with my instructor when I'm here? If I'm struggling, what does it look like?
What's the communication between coach,
correct,
swing coach,
right? Are you going to want me to go see my instructor, or are you going to try to take over and not take over, but you going to get in there and try to help, or is this just, hey, call your coach? Things have worked pretty well in the past. I'll assist you where I can.
All right, so much good information. I feel like I could keep going, but
you're welcome, internet.
Yeah,
we did it.
Justin, thank you.
Thank you.
If you've got a few more minutes, Emmy our co-host has questions for you.
Tough hitters. I'm ready for them. I've been nervous all day for them.
Yeah, man.
All right, we'll be right back. Thanks, everybody. All right. Wow, that was really a long run, but it was so nice having Justin. And thank you so much for answering all these questions that we have. That, probably, I know we have friends asking us to ask these questions. So thank you, internet
good
friends.
Questions. I like
thank you. All right, we've just got one last little segment. Emmy's been patiently waiting because I know she's got questions for you as well.
Okay, Justin, first off, thank you so much for being here. I'm Emmy, and I am the co-host of Tiger Dads. And I like to ask a lot of personal questions because, the older ones like to ask a lot of the more serious ones.
I like it. Let's get into it.
The first question is, what is the most embarrassing thing a parent of a potential recruit has done?
Whoa. Man, that might take a while to answer. Most embarrassing thing. I don't know if I have an answer for that.
Okay, well then, what is the most embarrassing moment you've had on the course? Okay,
so I watched Bree Navarrose's interview with you, so I figured that one would be coming. So I did a little thinking. I've had a bunch.
Uh-oh.
Coach, I'm going to keep it to coaching, though. I'm not going to give you his answer as good as Bree's was. I was at the US Amateur in Mississippi, the year Gabby Ruffles won. Was caddying for. It was awesome. We are in the first round of stroke play. I believe we started on the back. We were on the 12th hole. Gabby's in meters, not yards.
Oh, no.
Okay, so this is I'm a math guy. I love math.
Wait, on purpose or on accident?
In Australia, they all use meters. Everyone uses meters, not yards. So my brain's having to shift, and you can just use meters, but the way I was doing it was we were using a rangefinder, which is meters. I had a chart in my yardage book. I was then transferring it back to yards. I was doing all my homework in yards, then going back to meters. So it was a hard process. And I'd helped her in college. She'd played for me. So dialed in. It was 110 degrees, middle of summer, Mississippi. I'm pacing off the yardage. I was using the plate. She was using a rangefinder. And I gave her the number. She gets up over it. In my head, I'm like, so I knew something was wrong.
Oh my God, I see where this is going. Like, I'm scared.
She's about to pull the trigger, and Gabby's the sweetest, coolest kid in the world. I go, rough. She looked up. She's like, what? Someone hitting? I'm like, come here for a second. She walks over. I go, I think I added instead of subtracted. She's like, what? I was like, I counted the plate wrong. I added the numbers instead of subtracting them. That's about 15 yards too much of a number. So it took a little bit of time to earn her trust back throughout that day, but that was a tough scene.
Well, at least you didn't let her hit it.
Yeah, if she had hit it, that would be...
I think she made birdie, actually, which I take all the credit for. But it took a little bit of time. And then I caddied for in the COVID U.S. Open in Houston. No rangefinders in the U.S. Open. And I did it on one of the first couple holes there, too. So
I can actually see that really clearly because my dad always says that. I'll be like standing over the ball and he'll be screaming like, wait, don't do anything.
Bad number.
Yeah. Right? I feel like you do that a lot.
I've definitely given her some bad numbers.
We've all done it.
And I'm not even transferring between meters and yards, and I've got the rangefinder.
I was all up in tangles after that. I was like quadruple checking numbers. It took a little longer to get them.
But sometimes I'll get caught up like, there's a little more wind than I think.
That's tough. That's such a feel thing, right? Yeah. Like I know you watch your daughter play golf a lot, but man, with our players, like I'm always looking up, right? And you're like, ooh, that's blowing hard. Should I call them off? And good players, they don't want to get called off, so you better be. You better be sure.
I don't know if we told this story. When we were in Oregon, we were at Pronghorn, just playing the Oregon State Championship, and it wasn't even a bad caddy thing. It was like we were in a little bowl. It was really cold and it was windy, and we were in the bowl. We didn't feel the wind, and I was like, okay, it's a par 3, and I stepped off to the side. She ripped one. I'm like, I know why. When you hear it, I see the ball fly right off the club. I'm like, that's going to be on the stick. And it's a really gnarly par 3 because it's like
this was the most traumatic experience.
And it was like huge drops, like a 50-foot swale in the front. She hit this thing, and I'm like, it's gonna be on the flag, and it's like up, and then it's like over the flag, and it's still going.
It landed on a rock, like 15 yards past on a rock,
20 yards.
And the rule is you can take relief if you're on a rock, but you need to go backwards. And I couldn't go backwards because if I go backwards, I'm on... oh my God. If I go backwards, then I'm on more rocks. And so we were like, okay, we have to play from a rock, so we're going to putt it off.
Oh my God.
And so we, I don't know.
And it's like a straight drop onto the green.
We kind of bellied it with the chip, just
like
barely tapped it with my wedge. And then it doesn't go where I want it to go, and then it comes up short on the fringe, and so now it
didn't make it down the slope.
Right.
It didn't make it because it got stuck in the fringe, and so now I'm chipping downhill, and there's a massive bowl, and I keep watching all the girls we were waiting on hit it down in the bowl, have it keep coming back down, and then they're putting for like 10.
Call that room service, comes right to you. It's tough.
It was so bad. And then I chipped it, and then it wasn't that bad of a chip.
No,
right? It wasn't that bad. And then it rolled all the way down.
How many groups were waiting behind you?
We were the last group.
Okay, that's actually good.
We had one person.
This was day 2. We were the last group.
At least you weren't holding everybody up.
It was so bad. I think it made a triple.
She made a triple.
It was so bad.
But
it hit a good shot.
It was like hit a great shot.
I thought I was gonna make my first hole in one. When
she hit it, I was like, that is on. That's gonna be we're tapping that thing in.
Nice
and
sport.
It just the wind, But as caddies, we make mistakes sometimes. That was a caddy error. My bad.
I've never handed anybody the wrong club. That's like my worst fear when I'm caddying. It's like my worst fear.
Sometimes I'll be standing over the ball with the club that I want that would probably be right, but then he'll stop me, change it, and even if I'm kind of unsure, and I'm like, hey, I feel like we should do this one, he'll be like, no, trust me, this is the good one. And of course it isn't. I'm like,
no, usually I'm pretty good.
We can do a whole nother episode.
I'm just saying, I said sometimes.
My next time in here, we're going to do caddy conversations because I got a lot of stuff.
Well, so let me ask you as a caddy, normally she's at an age where I'm like, look, you hit what you're confident in, right? Like, I think it's an 8, you think it's a 9. If you're confident in the 9, hit the 9.
Sometimes I'll just say no, but then when I say no, I'm angry because he stopped me when I'm about to hit.
Yeah, I don't usually stop you.
You're the one.
Anyway,
it's very rare.
You're the one hitting it. You can make the decision. I'll give you my input, but you're the one.
I don't want to catch any more strays. Keep going.
Okay. This one's a more personal one. What's your oh my gosh, wait. What's your music taste or favorite singer?
Good question. So my Apple Music's a mess. If we just put it on shuffle, it'd be a lot of country music. I did grow up in Dallas, like Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs, Riley Green. Don't make that face at me. But if you just put it on shuffle, we're gonna hit some Jay-Z, some Meek Mill around the way there. We're gonna get some Taylor Swift in there too.
I've been told you're a Swiftie.
I do like Taylor Swift.
What's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Cruel Summer. New album's kind of fire though. I do like it.
Can you sing Cruel Summer for me?
I could. I'm not going to.
Please.
Oh, like good. Top 4 or 5 on the album. But it's good stuff. I do like it. But yeah, you're going to get a whole classic rock. We're going to get some AC/DC in there. It's truly a mess.
Yeah,
K-pop?
that's kind of
Some
our...
K-pop in there.
We got our Spotify Wrapped this year, and it was so off. We were like, what? This is not our 2025. But okay. Okay, if you had one thing you could change about your team, what would it be?
I would like the golf courses to allow me to bring my dog to practice every day. It would be good mental support for myself and our players.
What's your dog's name?
Lincoln. She's a 7-year-old golden retriever. She's team mascot. She's the best. I love her.
Cute. I love her.
I know. We need to get Rolling Hills Country Club to allow dog access.
Yeah, dogs
we're
of course
working
would be
on
great.
it. I know. That's my one thing about, well, we didn't talk about it, but like SEC facilities or having your own facility. That's why I want it. Simply so I can bring my dog to practice every day.
At Wilshire on Christmas, we're allowed to bring our dogs, but the one time we brought my dog, she tried to run away. So
Just,
It's a lot of green grass. I don't blame her.
yeah, don't blame her.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
that'd be
we
my,
didn't, we
that'd be my
didn't
one
get
change.
into the facilities. We'll save it for next time.
Part 2.
And then, what is your favorite on-course snack?
Ooh, that's the best question I've gotten all day. Uncrustables. God, we go through a lot of those.
Yes.
Uncrustables.
My favorite.
We eat a lot of macro bars, but undoubtedly the Uncrustable hits different.
I love Uncrustables because I don't like crust. Like, my dad, he'll make me sandwiches and I'll just rip it apart. It looks like I've just massacred the thing, but it's okay because...
We had a 36-hole day last year, and I think I went through. I didn't get lunch that day. I was out coaching, too busy to kind of sit and eat, and I think I had 8 of them. That was too many.
8 Uncrustables?
Wasn't my best moment. No, it was
A lot of protein.
tough. 8. I mean, it's 36 holes, though. We're looking at like
Long day.
11 hours and like 12 miles. So, got to fuel up.
Yeah.
What else you got, Em?
Give me one more, kid.
Well, that was all I had, but like now I can
Come up
think of
with
another
something,
one.
I have a question while she's thinking.
Oh, wait, I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you have any team inside jokes?
Too many for this podcast. We got a lot. We spend a lot of time
Give me
together in
top
college golf.
3.
I don't even know if I could give them because the context wouldn't make any sense. But I will say this: we're allotted 20 hours of practice time a week for any college golf team, any college team in general. But on the road, we are together. We're the one sport or one of the few sports. We drive to the course together. We eat our meals at the same table. Like if you're on a football team, there's 120 guys eating in the conference room. So like you just sit with your buddies. You never sit with the other players. So like we truly are, it's a traveling circus, but we're just a family and we just spend all this time together. So yeah, a lot of inside jokes. Got to keep it light. This sport's tough. It beats you up a ton. And that helps keep things light and more enjoyable.
Always fun.
Always fun.
All right, Justin, thank you again. Emmy, thank you for the insightful
job.
personal takes.
Shout out Uncrustables. Let's go.
Shout out Uncrustables.
Shout out Uncrustables.
We need
Get that sponsor.
Yeah, we need some
Sponsor
Uncrustables in the
us,
studio.
sponsor everybody.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. This was a pleasure. Good luck this season. We look forward to seeing you. We'll come down and watch in San Diego, hopefully. And
We do have a home tournament for the first time ever.
oh, tell us.
Rolling Hills, the Game Above Invitational, March 9th and 10th, Monday, Tuesday at Rolling Hills Country Club. Gates will be open. Come on out. Really good field. We play all day Monday, 36 holes. So free to spectators. We're trying to get a lot of junior golfers out there. I think it's a good opportunity to see what college golf's like. Watch some coaches coach if you're getting close to the recruiting age too. I think that's a big piece. But college golf's sick. There's no ropes. You can get pretty up close and personal and see what's going on. So March 9th and 10th, come see us.
Love it. We will make sure to point that out on socials when we get a little closer because all of our SoCal, our friends and family and juniors, will definitely, that'll be fantastic to watch. Rolling Hills is a great course to go watch too.
Yeah, very easy viewing, link style golf course. It'll be fun.
So love it. Thanks again, everybody. See you next week.
Straight down the middle. It went straight down the middle.